Thanks very much. I'm head of farming at Sustain. And a year ago, at this very meeting, I promised that we'll be launching a campaign around better, fairer, more farmer-focused supply chains. We want 25% farmer-focused supply chains by 2035. And so that's a big ask. It's a big ambition, and we're certainly not going to do it in the next year, Kath. But what we did over the last year was survey farmers and do a lot of work to prepare for what we want to ask for. And that farmer survey, 500 farmers, made it very clear that they need better supply chains. They need money for infrastructure. They need advice and support so that they can add value on farm, so they can work together and work through food hubs to sell their produce collectively, ideally into the public plate through dynamic procurement. They asked for much more support in developing those kind of new supply chains. And there was lots of barriers in the report, lots of interesting insight, lots of despair as well. It's fair to say a lot of farmers feel despair at the trade deals being made and everything, which will undercut them because the imports will be coming in at lower standards potentially, etc., etc. So what we've done is we've set the scene, and we presented the report to MPs last week, and there's a news item on our website if you want to read that, with a wonderful presentation from Josiah Meldrum from Hobdodds, who describes a whole new way of thinking about supply chains as a network of relationships and at a local and regional level, which will allow more of the money to get to the farmer, but not higher prices for the consumer. We're not talking about elite, extremely expensive food. It's about good food for everybody at local level or regional level through better, shorter, fairer supply chains and less money being siphoned out. So the key things we're asking for is a vision for this, and it'd be great if we got this year, but one thing we might be able to do this year is to get a recognition of farmer-focused supply chains being a focus for money from the Levelling Up Fund or the local enterprise partnerships or Shared Prosperity Fund, and a recognition of dynamic procurement as a key way to do this, and planning rules. We'll be campaigning on all this year and get planning rules supporting local food systems, infrastructure and supply chains. Critical, missing part of the picture. Better food trading is absolutely critical for everything we're talking about today.